Hi, it's Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I wanted to talk to you about these items of makeup. These are Revolution Strobe Highlighter, Vivid Baked Highlighter, and another Vivid Baked Highlighter. Now, if you have just tuned into my channel for the very first time, you're probably not going to stay here too long, unless of course you happen to be a crafter. Now these two look very, very similar. This one is the Strobe one, and it says Strobe Highlighter Flash on the base. Now take note of this. This one is a Vivid Baked Highlighter, and this one is Golden Highlights. Okay, now if you're looking at them online, you may well see one and mistake it for the other. But please don't, because this Strobe one is about twice the price of this one. So unless you want to buy that one, be careful. And this one is also about half the price of that one. These two were respectively €3.95. Now I got them in Spain from Druni, which is a local chain, and they do have an online presence. Now I could buy these in the shop for €3.95. If I go online to buy them, they are €3.75. And if you spend over €18, I believe it is, you get free postage. So you may want to consider that into your equation. Now, what do they actually look like? I'm going to just put a swatch on the back of my wrist, so hopefully you can see. There we go. Now this one has green tones to it. I know that because I have tried it out, and I'm assuming this is probably because people put it in areas where they want to colour correct as well. So it does have a greenish tinge to it if you just put it on your skin. Now obviously if you're doing a full makeup, that's not what you're going to do, but just to tell you, that is the colour that it kind of shimmers. It shimmers a green colour. Okay. This one says golden highlights, and I'm going to use a different finger because I don't want to contaminate it, and put that on the inside of my wrist, and that is actually showing golden tones. All right. Now, it's a very fine powder, it's quite smooth and silky. I'm sure there's absolutely nothing wrong with it regarding cosmetic wise. This one is supposed to have peach highlights, and I'm going to choose the other side. I've not used it before, so I can't say. Yeah, that is definitely pinky peach highlighting colour. So, you know, if that's what you're interested in, those are the colours that it comes out. This one here is $6.95 if you buy it in store. I didn't see it online, so I didn't notice it online. I don't know whether that is going to be any cheaper online than it is in the store. Okay, so you know, if you are interested in doing your face shaping, then fine. However, that's not the purpose I've got them for. You know, I mean, you know, if you've been watching my channel, you should know me better than that by now. Would I do that? No, not a chance. Now the thing is, I'm mentioning these because there is a chance that if you are of the type that does a lot of makeup and things, you may well have done strobe makeup and highlighting and contouring and all the rest of it. However, if you've got these products around and maybe you thought, hell, you know, I can use this, I'll look like Kim Kardashian at the end of the day, and you found you didn't and you don't like it, then there is another use for these. All right. Now, I am going to show you how to use them in paper crafting. Okay, that's what I do. I use things in paper crafting, but not always the sort of things that you expect me to use in paper crafting. Now, I have here a piece of black paper, and I've chosen black because these things show up on black a lot better, particularly under the camera. and it makes it easier for me to show you what's going on. Now I've just got a stamp here and I have a Versamark ink, and I'm just going to do a few little stamps along the top here. Well, I'm actually going to do 3 so you can see the differences between these, and then I'm going to tell you what else you can use them with. Okay. So I'm going to go that one, and that one. So we have the Strobe one on the far left. Now I know, because I've tried it out, that the Strobe highlighter gives off a different colour depending on the surface that you're putting it on. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and plonk it over my Versamark. Not only is it something you might already have around, but that because it's designed for the whole face, or at least large swathes of it, it's a bigger palette. You get 7.5 grams in here, and I don't know how much you get in an eyeshadow palette, but it's probably only about a quarter of that if you're lucky. With this particular one, the Strobe one, comes off looking as if it has a greeny tint. I don't know how well you catch the green on camera. I will have to check later and see what it looks like on screen. But that definitely has a greeny tint, and you can do that and you can just wipe the excess away. Now this one I've not tried out yet, but it's supposed to be golden highlights, and I'm interested to see what colour is going to come out of this. So I'm going to use a different brush just to make sure I don't have any of the other one. Oh, this is definitely a different colour, most definitely. So this is coming out looking, let me just have a good look. Yeah, that's coming out definitely looking gold. Maybe an antique gold. It's not a really yellow gold. That's that. There we go. And this one is supposed to be peachy. So let's grab myself a different brush. Yeah, this is definitely coming out as pink. I've got a little bit of the gold from that one there, but this is coming out as pink. So there we have 3 distinct different colours for using on cards, and they are very pretty. I have to say, they do look really nice. But that is on black. Okay. We will get a completely different look when I try it out on white. So I'm going to get my Versamark, and I'm going to do another 3 of my splotches. Like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat emboss them with a clear powder, clear colourless embossing powder. As you can see, I've got a fair amount of static over there, but as I said, it doesn't matter, it's just a test swatch. Okay, now this is wrinkled a little bit because it is literally only paper, it's not actually card, but I really don't care. So what you can do now is you can take your stamp and you can stamp over the images that you stamped before. Now notice I haven't even bothered to put it back in the Versamark because this, being a polymer stamp, is actually quite sticky in its own right. So I'm just going to try and line this up. I'm not being too careful about it, but I do want it to go more or less over the image that I've already heat embossed. So it's very difficult for me to see it under here without putting my head under the camera, which I don't want to do. Right, there we go. So the first one, I'm just going to go over it like so. Down. the second one. And finally this one, which I didn't actually manage to stamp on top of the original image, but never mind, it makes an interesting look. Now I'm just going to brush this off after I quickly dry it. I want to make sure that the images are dry, because otherwise I'll end up with these puddles of colour around it, which I really don't want. So just a quick blast. There we go. Make sure it's cooled down and wipe off the excess. Ta-da! Now, what you now have are heat embossed images, or what you would have if I'd actually been stamping over the top, is heat embossed images with the different shine to it. Now, the advantage of this, let me explain. Normally what I would do to get a coloured heat embossed image like this is I would scrape some of this powder into another container and add some plain colourless embossing powder to it. And then I would keep that aside. But you can actually do a bit of this colour, a bit of that colour, and get variations in tone on the same image and still have it heat embossed without having to mix up lots and lots of different colours and different variations of your embossing powders. So that is really quite handy. So I'll do another 3 swatches. I might as well. I've got 3 of the others, so I want to do 3 here, hadn't I? Here we go. So I did that, and I put my clear embossing powder over the top. Okay, so what you can do, and it's quite interesting to do, is without heat setting that, sprinkle over some of your powders. So depending on how you sprinkle it or the brush that you're using, you can, oops, wrong one. You can get stronger or more subtle results. I need to pick up a lot more powder on here. So for example, if you just scrape this and drop basically lumps on there, you'll get a different effect to just sprinkling it very gently. So I'm just going to use my heat. What you need to do is to heat from underneath, because if you heat from the top, you're going to throw your powder everywhere. Now I'm just going to take my soft cloth and wipe these off. And you can see the different effect. This one, with the bigger lumps, is almost like a cosmic sort of pattern. And then we have a little bit of a golden glow in that one. And that one has definitely got a green glow to it. Now, that's what you can do with these particular powders. And you can also use powdered eyeshadows in a very similar way. These are a couple that I've decanted into miniature jam jars. The original containers were this sort of thing. This particular brand is NYC, and it's called Sparkle Eye Dust. And I have one which is a bluey colour, and I have another one which is a sort of pearlescent pearl colour, I suppose you'd call it. And these are really, really effective. They're also of the type that sort of transform depending on what colour surface you put them on. This one varies incredibly from sort of pink through to deep blue, depending on the card beneath. And here's the sample that I just did. And I'm now under artificial light, so you might get a different view of what it looks like. It's a few hours later. And here's another sample that I did on a bright blue card. You can probably just about see the variations in colour because instead of doing each one an individual colour, I just put mixes of colours all over the card and just let it do its own thing. It is really, really pretty. Now this one isn't actually embossed, it's just with the Versamark and the powder. Okay, so I apologise to any of you who thought you were going to get a makeup tutorial. That's not, unfortunately, what you've got, if that's what you were looking for. But if you happen to have failed with your makeup contouring and strobing and all the rest of it, and you still have the makeup around, at least you can make use of it to do something else. Thanks for watching. Take care now. Bye bye.